Mm-hmm.
How sort of how big is your database, and how big is the audience you're taking care of?
I mean that varies between specialty, but we're looking at right now about 22 million users, and that encompasses HCPs and MDs. Uh, we target around now more than 500,000 US MDs alone. So, each specialty varies with who's registered for that specialty. If you take, like, for example, a PCP, someone who's in internal and family medicine, that's one of our largest specialties, and that alone has nearly 400,000 registered users.
Hmm.
So it all varies. And then you have something that could be smaller, like oncologists. Our database, I believe, is like 15,000 active uh, oncologists, but they can vary, and what we find is that they're very temperamental, so if, like, going back to that example with lung cancer, if you have a breast cancer specialist who gets lung cancer content, we've seen that they are quick to opt out,
Hmm.
whereas a PCP, uh, it's so broad that they'll take anything pretty much. They'll take the oncology content, they'll take the cardio content,
Hmm.
because they're specialized in a broad range of things. So they're more forgiving, and actually they're more engaged because they want to find out more. So it all varies. But yeah,
Yeah.
we typically we have a full database, about 22, 23 million
Hmm.
users. And we have a million point five registered doctors in the US. And that's not considering our global units and our global audiences. But typically, if you want to see from an email perspective, from year to year, we send about a billion emails per month, a billion newsletters per month. Yeah, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
not per month, per year. A
Yeah.
billion newsletters per year. So we send out a lot of newsletters.
Yeah, I can see that. I can't even
Yeah,
imagine what a billion emails looks like. So
I
I
can. Yeah,
it
it's a lot.
ca-
It's a lot, and if you look at our newsletter calendar, we make fun because it looks like a Christmas tree because we color code it by email product, by specialty, so it looks like Christmas all year round. Yeah,
um I want to sort of wrap up the episode. We're getting close to
yeah,
the end of our
sure.
time together, but it's um you know I can't imagine like 1 billion per year. It sounds like ridiculously high for me. Like I've never been working with that scale of emailing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what are sort of your go-to, like, or your top tips, on email marketing, things that you've learned over the years?
Mm-hmm.
You've working with such a large
Yeah.
base, sorry. How would you advise someone starting to work with on a large base like this? What would you tell them to pay
Yeah.
attention to?
Yeah. That's no all good questions. It's probably hard to believe since we do send out a billion per year, but I would say less is more. So meaning, I think especially working with other marketers, there's this need, this compelling instinct to just send out that newsletter and get whatever engagement you can sometimes. But the negative impact, the opt out, has far more consequence than the slight increase in open rate or unique click
Mm,
through rate that you might get in a newsletter. So if you're pitted up against that Sophie's choice of, do we just send for the sake of sending or not, and also if you're competing, like I said, we have a robust calendar that we're sending out throughout the course of the day. So if you find that you're competing with other newsletters, competing with other teams, keep in
mm,
mind too, like within WebMD, I'm just one email team. We also have a promo side and a CME, a continuing medical education side, and then there's the WebMD side too. So, there's a lot of email going out. So I would say, when in doubt, don't send it unless it's for sure going to be very compelling and very relevant and personal to that
mm,
user, because the negative will certainly outperform any positive that you can get in that circumstance. And then the second big thing would be to test, 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 test.
mm,
Um, Especially now that we are full throttle with personalization and algorithm
mm,
learning, AI learning. Um, we don't know what the right answer is. We don't know what the right frequency is a lot of times. We're constantly pushing thresholds. So we want to make sure that we're testing with a small audience, that we're learning from that,
mm,
and that we're expanding based off of a strategic schedule, a strategic calendar.
mm,
So making sure that you have a test plan, making sure that you have 1080 or A/B tests that have a clear beginning, middle, and end, and that you are changing one variable at a time, not getting ahead of yourself. I think that's key to making sure that you're going to a more engaged group and gaining that overall traffic for your channel.